The movie begins with a man in the woods, Zhang. He seems to just be enjoying the outdoors when suddenly we see a woman on a horse being chased by a group of men also on horses. This catches the attention of Zhao. The woman trips, but the man and his brother come to the rescue and guard the woman. The two brothers and the woman fight off the soldiers. Zhao Jin asks her what that was about, but before she could answer, more men showed up, and it seems they are cornered. They see the woman riding away, and they chase after her. But it turns out it wasn't her. It was just a decoy for her to escape. They chase after her, but Zhao struggles to protect her and shoot arrows at the men. The commander of the soldier army commands them to stop chasing due to a big gap, but Zhao Jin manages to jump at making them free of the soldiers. Zhao and the woman, Mingyun, meet up with his brother who warned them that the Han soldiers will be there soon. They give her the faster horse to use escape and tell her they will be fine. Professor Fang wakes up, and it was all a dream. We continue to see the events of his dream. Mingyun is giving Zhao first aid and thanks him for saving her, and they have a warm moment. The camera pans back to the present reality. A student of his gives him a report on the remains of a horse they found underground. They are trying to find out about the kingdom that owned the horse for research purposes. The scene shifts to a woman telling the story of the jade pendant, the greatest value of the sanctuary, as she wears it around the neck of Mingyun, who she wants to be her successor. The scene switches to a group of soldiers gathering logs of wood. A prince walks up to the shaman and tells her these are benediction for his father's wellness. He pleads with the shaman to bring them back to the sanctuary. As the shaman and the other soldiers leave, the Han soldiers, their leader Haduna goes to meet his father, the king, and his brother, the crown prince, and tells him he raided the Han people, took their silk and gold, and beheaded the general guarding the fort and brought it back as a gift to him. His father praises him and asks what he wants in return, in which he replies his father should let him marry Mingyun, but his father said he had already given her to his brother. As he leaves, his brother confronts him about apprehending the Han people, and there is risk of retaliation to their people if he continues, but he doesn't respond. The scene shifts to Mingyun telling her mom to leave, and she would stay to avenge her father. She goes to the sick king's chamber to kill him because he is responsible for the death of her father. He tells her he is remorseful as he continues to cough severely. He then tries to take the knife from her, but she fights back. The prince, Haduna, stops her and tells her to go now. The crown prince comes to check on the king, but as he comes, his brother stabs him and tells the king he should have been the crown prince as he has risked his life several times in battle for him. He also kills his father and says he will become king. The scene is shifted to the present. One of the researchers introduces his friend, Lei Zhan, to the professor. The man tells the professor that he is making a game called The Legend of Han and Han. They all sit at a table as they discuss their different discoveries and enjoy a dance show. Wang Jing is mesmerized at Shinran's beauty and dancing skills. The scene shifts back to the past. Mingyun is dancing and practicing. Zhao Zhan and Hua Jun show up and are impressed by Mingyun's skills. They ask why she is there, and she says she and her mother were meant to meet there, but she isn't there. The shaman appears and tells her Haduna the prince captured her mother as his revenge to get her to marry him. She says she must go back to save her mother. She tells them she has matters to attend to and has to leave now. The scene switches back to the present. The professor tells the man to wake up and go, and meet Shinran, who dressed up and danced for him. He goes up to her, and she seems disappointed that he isn't reciprocating her feelings and actions towards him. The scene is shifted to Professor Fang in a museum, as they are told about the establishment of Shandan military horse farm, which made them able to fight the Huns. They get to a picture where Professor Fang explains how the word champion got widely known. According to him, 17-year-old Hua Xiubing followed his uncle Wei Qing to fight the Huns for the first time. He said Wei Qing gave him only 800 horsemen. Then he went deep into the enemy's territory. We see the event happening. The Huns are on their way to the Huns to go retrieve their people when they see an injured mother and her baby, who tell them the Huns took her daughter and dies on that spot. They get to where the Huns are and plan on attacking from 3 directions to catch them off guard. They get into position. Mingyun is dressed up ready to marry Haduna against her will to free her mother. The Huns attack the Huns and freed the people. In the chambers, Haduna asks Mingyun to tell him where the sanctuary is, and she tells him only the great shaman knows. Just then Zhao Jin comes into the chambers. Some Huns try to apprehend him, but he fights them off. Then Haduna goes to fight Zhao Zhan, which leaves an opening for Mingyun to escape. Mingyun goes to her mother, and they finally reunite. Just then, Haduna sees Mingyun and shoots an arrow at her, but her mother sacrifices herself for her daughter. The Han soldiers have been captured. The Hans tell him to surrender, so to be treated with mercy. Mingyun tells her story to Zhao. She says her father was a Han general who pledged allegiance to the Han, and that the former king invaded the city under his guard and killed everyone including her father, and her mother gave herself to the king for her safety, but now they are both gone. Zhao asks her to help them train the horses for battle. Zhao Zhan and Hua Jun are being praised for bringing back the stallions, which will strengthen their cavalry and help the Han Dynasty. The scene shifts, and we see Mingyun helping with the training of the horses. The two friends get to talking, and Hua Jun says his father has found a job for him when the battle is over. He asks Zhao Zhan if he has ever thought of starting a family. He says as long as the Hun's military threat exists, there is no starting a family. The scene shifts to the professor that Hu Tsubing built his fame in that battle, and the emperor named him Duke of Champions. Lei Zhan offers to the professor to look for Hun's sanctuary together so that he can incorporate in his game and will help the professor in further research, but the professor declines. Lei Zhan tells the professor that a friend of his that knows well about the Hun history is coming to China, and the professor tells him to arrange a time for them to meet. Wang Jing goes to the professor's house and shows him the AI picture a woman he saw in his dream. The professor says it looks like the woman he saw in his dreams too, and says it because they are researching on the jade pendant that is why they are having similar dreams. Wang Jing goes over to Shinran's house and surprises her with a bracelet she said she wanted. The scene shifts back to the past. Meng Yun is serving foods to children while Hua Jun approaches her and gives her the same bracelet. The soldiers sharpen their swords and get ready for battle. The scene switches to the present. Professor Fang and the researchers arrive at Mr. Herbert's house. Professor Fang brings the jade pendant to Mr. Herbert, who is an expert in shamanism, to examine the pendant. Wang Jing told Herbert that he and Professor Fang have been having similar dreams since they found the pendant. Herbert said the pendant can be used to talk to the deceased and the gods. That is why they keep having similar dreams. Herbert tells Fang to meditate with him, and maybe he will find the answers he is looking for. This session takes Fang to see the past. Soldiers are injured and are getting treatment while it is reported to the general, judging that 5 Han tribes have been conquered in 6 days, and the injured soldiers need days to recover. It seems the Han soldiers are in a dire situation as reports come to Zhao Zhan that they are outnumbered. He regroups and finds a new strategy to defeat Haduna. Mingyun gives the jade pendant to Zhao to keep him safe. Zhao Zhan comes to give a morale boost to the soldiers. The Huns and Hans face themselves. It seems the Hans have a strategy ready to defeat the Huns. It was an intense battle, but the Hans were striving and powering through despite the number disadvantage. The Huns retreat. A group of Hun soldiers gang up on Zhao Zhan, but he was saved by Hua Jun, giving him a chance to free from the ropes. But even with the two of them, it was still a struggle. Zhao and Haduna go one-on-one, but Haduna gets aid from the other Hun soldiers. Haduna stabs Zhao's shoulder twice while he tries to fight him off. Hua Jun sees and immediately helps Zhao Zhan. The other Hans appear, causing Haduna and the other Huns to flee. Zhao Zhan collapses and is taken back to get medical help. It turns out he had been poisoned by the knife that he got stabbed with. Mingyun goes to any length to stop the poison from spreading. She finds out that the poison is a special one made by the Huns, and only the shaman had the antidote. Hua Jun and Mingyun embark to get to the shaman and get the antidote. Hua Jun's horse dies while Mingyun goes to the sanctuary, where the shaman is by herself. Mingyun gets the antidote and goes back to Hua Jun. Suddenly, she faints but quickly regains consciousness to get the general the antidote. She tells him to go and give it to Zhao Zhan while she stays here with the shaman. She returns the bracelet to Hua Jun and says she can't keep it for him. Mingyun and the Hun soldiers cross paths. She starts coughing up blood, and it seems she has been poisoned by trying to suck out the poison from Zhao's wounds. Haduna commands his soldiers to get Munjian, but Munjian says she will avenge her mother and puts up a fight and defeats all of Haduna's men, leaving Haduna alone, who doesn't hesitate to attack her. The two get in a sword battle. Mingyun seems to be getting weak from the poison, but still puts up a fight. Haduna stabs her and asks where the sanctuary is. She struggles and manages to slit his throat, killing him. Munjian also passes away. There is a snowstorm which Hua Jun tries to power through, but the storm is too much and knocks the horse off a cliff, leaving Hua Jun alone. Hua Jun tries to run back to Zhao, but he is weak due to his injuries and the freezing cold. The blizzard goes and Hua Jun manages to make it back home and tells them to get the antidote to Zhao Zhan. Hua Jun passes away. Zhao Zhan is cured and sees Hua Jun's body and grieves. The scene switches back to the present. Wang Jing and Professor Fang come back from the meditation. Wang Jing asks Herbert if there is glacier up ahead, and he says yes. They ask to go and take a look at the area. They go into an ice cave to survey. As they are about to head back, the floor beneath them collapses and they slide down the cave. There they find the ancient sanctuary. Mr. A. Bear appears. He reveals he wants to take a look behind the walls by force. He gets explosive to blow up the wall. He blows up the wall, and the sanctuary is revealed. Herbert finds what he is looking for. Feng apprehends him and tells him it isn't for him but for THR whole nation. Herbert's men tie up everyone. One of Herbert's men give Feng something to use to escape. Herbert men continue to prepare explosives to look for the Hun's treasures, but Feng gets free and tackles the men. Bullets start firing everywhere. A bullet hits Lei Zhan. Herbert commands for his men to kill all of them. Herbert catches one of his men, disabling the bombs, and shoots him. Feng tells Herbert that if he wants to find the treasures, the answer is on the writings on the wall. He goes close to them and finds a way to tackle Herbert. The two get into a fight. Feng tells Wang Jing to go call the police while he fights Herbert and his men. Herbert fires arrows at Shinran, but Wang Jing blocked them. But luckily they hit his bag and not him. The two take Lei Zhan out of there. Feng keeps fighting, but Herbert fires an arrow at him and stabs his shoulder. Herbert lands on a sharp object stabbing him, but gets back up and tackles Feng. Herbert blows up Golden Statue, but the statue falls on him. Feng tries to help Herbert, loses his balance, and falls into running water underneath the building. It turns out in the river is where the Hun's treasures are. Feng tries to break the ice on top of him. In another location in the sanctuary, a family is there, and underneath them is Feng. The family help Feng out the water. The scene switches to Professor Fang signing autographs on his book A Legend. While signing, a customer comes up to Wang Jing and says the ending for Zhao and Meng Yun was very sad, but he said the professor has a better ending for the two. The ending was Zhao Zhen went to see Meng Yun's body in the sanctuary. He leaves with her body and rides off to a beautiful garden. The end.